JoyMcClymont, thank you very much for joining me today to share your journey and your entrepreneurial journey. And we're very, very interested to know all about you, but also all about your business. But before we get into the business aspects, tell us a little bit more about you as a person.
All right. Thanks very much for having me, Retha. It's wonderful to be asked to be on this interview. Basically, I grew up in a small town, Gundawindi, not very far from Toowoomba actually, and went through primary and high school there, then eventually went to university in Armidale and became a teacher. And after lots of different teaching positions from Charters Towers to Mooloolaba to the United Kingdom, I eventually came back and met my husband and settled in Longreach. And now I live on a sheep and cattle station 100 kilometres west of Longreach. I have 4 children and we run a sheep and cattle business, obviously, but I also operate my online business called Off the Track Training.
Yeah, I had a bit of a look at what you do on your website, and it's fascinating. Really, I love the concept that you're out there on a farm, but you're running really a global business. So, how fantastic is that?
It's very good. It's very exciting.
Yes, absolutely. So, tell me a bit about your business.
Okay, well, amongst all of that teaching work, I eventually, once I had my first baby, I realised that I needed to do something else, and I'd always had a great love of sport and physical fitness, and had done a lot of programs and bits and bobs of physical fitness training. So I decided to get my Certificate 4 in personal training. So I did some study at home virtually. I ended up getting a sort of like a traineeship with a local organisation here in town, health organisation, and became a sort of part-time personal trainer there with them, which was great because I could do my study and do my training at the one time. All of the while, I was still doing what I had originally done when I was teaching at a small school, which was to start helping people to be fit regardless of where they lived. So I was training and coaching and supporting people to, start this health and fitness journey. And I was doing it via very time-consuming emails back and forth to individual people, talking to them on the phone every now and again and writing sessions and just experimenting with what it took for people to make a real change and start to feel physically healthy and fit.
So when did this start? Like, how long have you been in business for?
Well, I actually think I've been in business for about 30 years, it seems.
Yeah.
It feels like everything I've done in my life has been leading up to this. But in fact, the business itself has been in action for about 7, and it's only really started to hum in the last 2 years. Okay. And really only in the last 12 months has it reached the next level. So it's only early stages of the really exciting next level. And what we do now and how we deliver our service and how I deliver the service to people is so different to how it originally started 7-8 years ago.
So tell me a little bit more about your service that you provide.
Yeah, so basically we are a virtual health and fitness program and community. So we not only deliver a program to people of the physical fitness sessions you can do, the exercises, we also provide nutrition tasks, and we also accompany that with mindset tasks, because all those 3 elements make up good physical health and fitness. So we deliver that, but we also provide a program but a community, and we communicate with that community on a range of different modes, you might say. So we do live workouts via the telephone. So we're actually bringing a sort of a group fitness type of mentality onto a teleseminar system. So people dial in, we do a workout all together, and then we go away on our merry way for the day. And then we also have interactive podcasts that with guests across the health and fitness spectrum, but also the naturopath nutritionist who I work with, we take it in turns and do a range of topics. So we're sort of like a portal for health and fitness information that also deliver a program as well as do the coaching and support. And I suppose all of those different elements require lots of different types of technology and communication. So we have an online membership site that hosts all of the program, the videos, the audios, every bit of resource. But we also then print out everything. We load it all on a USB. We load it all on an MP3 player. We have everything that we do is can be replayed. Everything is done so that people can access it if they're in good internet speed and capacity, if they're traveling. So we try and just meet the needs of people wherever they're at, but also take away the barriers that can sometimes come up against people when they're trying to get involved and stay engaged and motivated and know what to do.
I guess to me, it seems to me like your point of differential is the aspect that you really engage people everywhere, in remote areas, etc. Is that your point of differentiation, or what would you say make you guys different than the rest of in your industry?
I suppose the thing that sets this business apart is that we like to stay in touch with our clients, with our participants. And so there's a really big sense of, right, you need to ask questions. You'll get feedback from us. Let's get some accountability. So we've got some assessment forms that people submit, and they have virtual coach. You know how that's a big hassle for people. But it also is about, radio, you don't have to, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your lifestyle is like. You should still be able to be engaged, and we can't be expected to make these big health and fitness changes without that level of support. And that's what we want to bring into people's homes and make it accessible for everybody.
Do you have males and females participating in the program?
Yeah, we call them silent males.
Silent males, okay.
We're often the husbands doing it in the background. The majority of the participants are women, but some men have stood up in the last couple of months. It's been quite surprising.
Yeah.
And a lot of husbands have come on board. So it happens. And because all of our teleseminars are recorded, what happens is that the wife or whatever is playing it in the car and the husband just has to listen. Yeah. And so a lot of the messages are coming indirectly to them.
Yeah, look, I have to stress the WIRE program as well. It's not, even though the program is really for women, it's funded by a federal government grant. But we very much pro-male and getting males involved who support women as well. Because a lot of these businesses, of course, you have women and you have their partners involved as well. So ultimately, it's for the good of every business out there. So what kind of structure does your business have? Are you still solo or partnership, incorporated, or?
Yeah, we're sort of loosely partnered.
Okay, yeah.
That makes sense. So I have two other people that I work, or three actually, that I work really closely to. Yeah. We sort of have this loose arrangement of a partnership, but it's more of a contract at the moment. Yeah. And as the business gets healthier, we'll start to put some more guidelines in place.
Yeah. So I guess, a question that I usually like to ask entrepreneurial women, and that's whether they overseas or in urban areas or in remote areas or wherever, is it's about their identity and how you identify yourself within the entrepreneurial space. Even just the term entrepreneur, is that a term that you think of yourself as, or how do you see yourself, within this entrepreneurial space?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, because I would never label myself as a person who's an entrepreneur, and I certainly wasn't setting out on this journey to become one. Yeah. However, I suppose the way that I approach business and the way that I approach ideas and creativity and the possibility aspect, then that probably does fit into the entrepreneurial definition. But it's not, I wouldn't, when somebody said, who are you, or what's your role, I would never say I'm an entrepreneur. I would say I'm a business owner doing what I love and doing a service. So it's a hard one, but I suppose the nature of my business puts me in that category. Yeah.
So how would you define success for yourself?
Oh, look.
I know, it's a hard question.
It's actually, it's interesting, because I already think I've reached, I've been successful in my life in lots of different ways. And yes, you can always be more successful. But I think I'm pretty proud of what I've done is actually just have a go at this point, because it's hard enough just to do that. So I think you just have to take a bit of a stand at one point and just reflect and say, you know, what I've done so far is a success. Yes, I can be more successful, and yes, I can grow this thing, and I can, you know, there's lots of opportunities to still do more. And I wouldn't say the business, you know, from a financial perspective is completely 100% nailing the success rate. But I still believe that as a business, as a model of what we're providing, and as a person, I feel like, yep, I'm on the success train, and it's good. I feel like I've done what I really believed was important. I've stayed true to myself, and that makes it successful.
So I guess your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur, what would that be?
Oh, definitely the creativity that's possible. You know, you can think as big as you like nowadays, and you can guarantee that you'll find the technology or the expertise or the skills, or you'll be able to seek them out so that you can do it. It is that freedom of opportunity that I love about being in business today. It's like, wow, I could totally do that. And yep, everything is just at your fingertips if you're willing to learn and if you're willing to really put it into practice.
What about your least favorite?
Oh, definitely the financial management.
Okay.
Which is why I'm just outsourcing it even as we speak. But I suppose just, you know, keeping up to date with the financial aspect of the business is critical, but it's not my skill set, and it's certainly not my interest.
How do you deal with that side of things then?
You just have to force yourself to know a certain amount. You have to as a owner, but also trusting other people have skills in those areas that is far more beneficial for them to do it than you. Far more better use of your time and money.
That's right. Mindset. I mean, in your business, that is probably core, you know, to anything you do, especially in the fitness area. I myself have got a background in competitive tennis years ago, and it's such a mental aspect, whether you're a beginner or whether you're, you know, intermediate, whether you're advanced, there's always the mental aspects that come in. So I'm sure we can have long conversations about, you know, the mindset, the right mindset, etc. But take a little bit, think a little bit about your mindset and, you know, your business as well, how you link that to your business. Tell me a little bit more about your mindset in thinking about your business and driving your business forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a bit of a journey mindset. It changes over time. And as you tackle some mindset challenges, then you get some wins, and that changes the way you think from that point onwards. So I haven't always thought like I do now. And thank goodness, because I probably would never have started anything. But to the point now, I have a few things that I just always come back to, and that's to have faith in my ability to figure things out and not be defeated too early in challenges that you faced in your business. And when things go wrong, that really is something I fall back on. Right, we can figure this out. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean we've failed or anything like that. Just gather your thoughts and you can figure it out. And the other thing is just to see the possibilities beyond the impossible. Like, what does, you know, that is probably something that for me is so important. What's possible for me? What am I capable of? And it's way more than I think. Do the thing. What are you willing to do? And I always ask myself that. What am I willing to do? And that conjures up that fire in my belly that gets me, yes, I'm willing to do this because I want that. That all is a mind game, because often when you're tired and you feel like you're losing and it's just a real big struggle and battle and all those sorts of things, you do want to just go, oh, bugger it, you know. And there's been a few days, but not many, that I felt like that, just going, oh, this is just too hard. However, at those points, I just bring it back to doing the core stuff. Right, what is it that'll just get me to survive through these next couple of days? And then I'll conjure up a bit of the fire in the belly again, and we'll be right. But it's having a mindset that knows what to do when the chips are down, and also the foresight of really believing in what's possible that will conjure up the energy to get on with things.
Yeah. Have you got a particular entrepreneur or a business person that you admire?
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was thinking about this the other day, and a few local people came to mind, and then there was one girl that has developed Remedy Kombucha, Sarah Condon,
Yeah.
and she's got a great brand. But there's also a lot of thought leaders that I really believe have offered me great deal, and have got a great model for business. And Brendan Burchard is one of those thought leaders. And he talks about developing businesses, and being an entrepreneur. So he's made it his business to talk about that. But in the flesh, he's actually done it himself. So I love what he's provided.
You talked a little bit about initially about you had a vision initially, and talk to me a little bit about what that vision was in the beginning and how that has changed at this particular point where you are now.
So my vision was that I had 20 people that I was coaching virtually.
Yeah.
And when I said 20 people to the people that were helping me put this together, they went, "Oh my Lord, we might as well walk out of here now. That's a waste of time." And now it's obviously we've got 250 at the moment, but there's been a lot of people over the span of the last 12 months, and we've done way more than we thought we would. And
yeah,
it's just blown out of proportion. But it's only been done because we said, rightio, what service do we want to provide? We've got to start delivering it. Just learn on the job. We didn't have it all sorted before we started.
Yeah.
We launched it, and then people paid their money, and then you have to deliver. And if you need motivation, then that's it. You can't not deliver. And so that's been how we've rolled the business.
And as you look forward into the future, how do you see things moving forward?
I suppose for me, I would just like to keep scaling what we're doing and polish up on what we're doing and make it tighter and neater. And, we developed it in such we've quickly got to get the next week done, and we were always sort of rushing. But now we've got a bit of breathing space. We can go back over it. We can make it better. We can tidy it up. We can learn. And we can actually take on board all of the feedback from the program that we've combined over the last 12 months, and start really developing the program so it meets the market, meets the needs of people.
Yeah. So is there a particular book that you could maybe recommend to read, or what's your favorite book? Because you're both in the sports side of things, which is very mentally, you need that mental capability, but also the business side.
I suppose sport-wise, there's a really good book that I don't know how I found it, but I haven't seen it since. It's called Be Your Own Hero by Noel McBride.
Yeah.
And he was a runner from Winton, which is a small town just north of me.
Yeah.
And great coach, and has got some golden information about just being tough, and not tough on yourself, but don't be so easily defeated, and just get some guts about you and know that this is just work, it's just work.
Yeah. I'm interested to know also, how did you obtain your knowledge to kind of get to this point? Because you're obviously incorporating a whole range of new technologies, etc. Like, how did you kind of get onto that, Wayne? How do you do that? How did you obtain your knowledge to enable you to do that?
Yeah. Well, I had a really great guy who's still I work with now, and he was delivering some of his business like this, and so he sort of taught me some things. And then once we started the business, you realize what you need, and you go, I need to know how to do this, I need to know how to do video, I need to know how to edit it, I need to know how to compress it, I need to know how to upload it, how do we transfer PDFs into a link, and how do we create replays and replay pages. And so you sort of, it's a combination. One, I've got a really good mentor that knows a lot of those skills, and so he teaches me or puts it on me to learn. And the other thing is that if I want to be able to deliver something a particular way, I've got to find out how to do it. And you got to learn on the job sort of thing. You just go, okay, I need to know how to do that, or I need to do more video. I've got to know how to set this up and compress that fiddle around. So it's not perfect, but you learn on the job.
So you must have come across some obstacles in your journey. Can you maybe talk about one or a couple of those, and then also how you've overcome that?
Yeah, so probably one of the most significant obstacles is balancing business with life, and obviously having a family and balancing that a little bit more. It's not always been roses. Like, I haven't always got that balance right, but you certainly know when you've got it wrong because you feel cranky, agitated, something is out of balance if you're feeling like that. And so it's knowing when I have to cool my jets on business, or when I can ramp up things here, or when I need to spend some quality time. So that obstacle is always ongoing, and you need to just be reflective on that and not give up just because you think your family's suffering badly. Just know that you've got to maybe bring it back to a manageable level. So that's one thing. Yeah. And the other obstacles have been around delivery of the program with internet speed and capacity.
Yeah. How do you deal with that?
Well, it's much better now because we've got the NBN, and it's faster and it's more stable, I would say. But it's still challenging because we've only got a small amount of data compared to people in the city, and you really can't do Facebook Live or Zoom calls or anything like that. But as far as what I generally need it for, it meets the mark. You just got to do what you can with what you've got. And I outsource a little bit. I say, okay, I'll load it into here. You'll have to do the rest because my internet's down or it's too slow. Yeah. And thankfully enough, most of the people that are delving into my program and in the hub, they have got the same issues, if not worse, which is why we developed the program with to get around it.
So when you're in periods of maybe self-doubt and so forth, how do you pull yourself up?
I tend to just go back and think about why I really want this to happen, and what it means to me and what it means to my life, and go back to those core reasons why you even started. And then I often read some good stuff. Like, I'll read some testimonials or comments from people that have got some great ways of thinking forward about themselves and their physical fitness. And I think, well, it's a disservice if I don't do this. I genuinely believe that everything leading up to this point has, I've done that thing and coached that person or learnt that lesson because of where it was heading me today. And it would be a shame to put that all to waste.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess when we talk a little bit about, still on the subject of, business success and so forth, would there be a particular formula or something that you think, or, is there a pattern or something that you could share with other women that you think would be a good road to follow?
I think definitely the most important one is to just start. Don't overthink things. Just start and figure it out as you go. The worst mistakes people make in business is planning and preparing and wanting to be perfect and delaying it, and then 12 months have gone and they still haven't started. Whereas if they started, made some mistakes, realised that this wasn't going to work, changed their business. So starting, learning, changing, that process just keeps evolving, and that's what it means to be in business. You're not really meant to get it right first time round, because when you start and you learn on the job and you're evolving the business as you go, that was the most valuable cycle that I could have gone through. And I'm still going through all the time, because it teaches me about, well, people don't really like that. If that doesn't really work when I do it like that. And knowing, okay, that's okay, I can change it. I haven't locked into delivering it this way. We can keep on moulding it to fit.
Yeah. Oh, look, you're absolutely right. I guess the next aspect I want to know you a little bit more about is you also have some international clients, don't you?
New Zealand, and I had one in Iceland once.
Okay, so do you have also a vision to kind of go more internationally?
I think, it's never been something I've said I don't want to do, and it's never been something I said I wanted to do, but lo and behold, just because of where I live, who I am.
Yeah.
That is the Russell Coight of fitness. It's appealing to those people. And you know, if it works, if it helps people, I don't care where it is. Like,
Right. Yep.
I think if it's floating people's boats, and if it gets them fit, if it gets them preventing a heart problem, then I'm on it. So, yeah, and I think if we can also get back to the core values of why we should exercise, that's one of my big passions. It's not about being body beautiful all the time. Let's get down to the real reason as to why.
Yeah. Thinking a little bit about ideas, and tell me a little bit about your process of coming up with new ideas, because that's certainly something I'm sure you're dealing with every day on a daily basis. How to be creative, how to do new things, how to be innovative. What's the process that you go through for that? How does that happen for you?
Well, ideas were never something that I was short of, to the point that I probably had more ideas than action.
Okay.
And I always had to put, you know, I had 15,000 ideas, and we still do. Like, even the other 3 people I liaise with, we were always like, what about this? Oh yeah. And we just had to learn to put them in the back pocket, do our core business right, and then be patient with ideas. And once you've got your main idea, just focus on that, and then just keep on adding things in as the time arises. There's never a shortage of ideas with our organisation, mainly because there's so much potential to do more for people and achieve more. And, oh, we could do this, wouldn't it be exciting? And if we could think that and create that. So, yeah, just pacing them out and not being overwhelmed with ideas, which is probably something I was, just like, oh, there's so many ideas and so much I want to do. Where do I actually start?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how you obtain credibility, because credibility, especially in your industry, is very important. And the fact that you have already got, a few hundred that's actually linking into your business, how do you actually create that credibility? What have you done to do that, despite the fact that you are quite distant from some of these people?
Well, obviously getting certified is one element of credibility. The other one is having experience, having coached people, having trained myself. But the other thing is that's most resonating for people is that I've lived just like them. Yes. And so that familiarity that people have, and, oh, well, she does have 4 children. She does live 100 kilometres from town.
Yeah.
She really know what I'm talking about.
That's
and
right.
So that familiarity that is enabling you to have that credibility as well. It's also being okay with being wrong and not knowing everything. So I plug in quite a few experts, exercise physiologists, physiotherapists, my naturopath nutritionist, because I don't believe that I am the one-size-fits-all trainer that knows everything about everything. Yeah. And being open with people, saying, look, this isn't something I knew. How's about this? And actually being okay with the fact that I'm a learner along with them. There's some things I know and there's some things I don't, but I'm not the full stop. Everything I say is not gospel, and there's a lot of different ways of viewing how you are physically fit, and there's a lot of different people that have different opinions. But being okay and open about that in my group really is a very exciting thing for people, because I think they're used to thinking that this is the way you do it.
Yeah.
And in fact, what it does is allow people to fess up and say, well, actually, I'm not so good at that either. Yeah. It's not a program where we focus on perfection, almost to the point where we actually like imperfection.
Yeah, yeah. I love that view. It's just fresh as opposed to some of the views out there these days.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about promoting your business or marketing your business. Can you maybe share a few tips or lessons around that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we've not done a great deal of radio or television, or I think I've done one newspaper thing, but most of the marketing we do is social media and digital marketing.
Yeah, okay.
And to be honest, probably most of my role is 50% fitness, 50% digital marketing.
Yeah.
Writing content, blogs, and engaging with people online, because my business is a virtual program.
Yeah.
And to boot, there is just so much potential for purchasing things online, and that's where the money, like that's where everybody's focusing and socializing and buying these days. You have to be on there. So social media presence is pretty pertinent for me. I've learned a great deal about digital marketing, and I absolutely love it. And it's so addictive because it's a way of creating a relationship with person virtually.
Yeah.
How do you talk to them at their level? Writing content. How do you get them to engage with you? And Brendan Bouchard is a great person to learn from, and so is Frank Kearns, who are both in America but have done amazing amounts of work on how to develop digital marketing strategies around selling and around opt-in value offers, so OVOs. So what do you want them to opt into? What are you offering them?
Yeah.
And what's the value in that? So people have to know that what you've got to offer is beneficial to them. How do you get them believing that you are and what you have is beneficial?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It's not dirty selling. It's just about talking to your audience in a way that delivers what you're passionate about and solves their problem.
Yeah. What about partnerships? Like, what's your view on partnerships? You mentioned before that you do have some partners that you work with as well, and just your general view on partnerships and things to consider around that particular aspect.
Well, it's interesting because I suppose I've only been in, a loose partnership with people for about 18 months, I would say. And
even loose partnerships, collaborators, etc.
Yeah. I think it's important to be open to what their skills are and take on advice from them and give it equally. So a lot of the stuff that I didn't want to do, they said, you have to do this. This is going to be important. And I was dead certain, no, people aren't going to like this. Well, I've learnt my lesson because the things that they suggested, just trust in people. Mostly they will know more about it. And when you're in the business, you'll be doing what you want to do, but you may not see what the potential is. So when you're working with people and collaborating and partnering, those sorts of things, it doesn't become just your business. It becomes your business that's supported by these people, and okay with that takes time.
Tell me a little bit about how when you started up, how did you get funded, or did you get funded, or how did you start your business financially wise?
Okay, well, the only thing I really did, I wasn't funded by anybody, but I had about $1,500 in my account, and I paid for a 1-month subscription to a database management system called Entreport, which also does lead pages and database management and email marketing, autoresponders, and the whole shebang. Yeah. So it's $497 a month. So I spent most of my money on that. And then I just had this agreement with the people who were helping me to develop the membership site, who said, "Radio, well, we won't charge you anything to this point, but if we get 100 people in, we'll work out from there." So they were willing to put their time up. And I was willing to, I didn't need to be paid, obviously, but we were all willing to put our time up to a point. And then, that got the business going. And, if it was a failure, we all go away empty-handed. Nothing's lost, nothing gained, sort of thing. But, going forward from there, you just work it out. Yeah.
So you mentioned that moving forward, it is about growing your business or scaling it up. In your view, does it require a different skill set to grow your business than to start your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you're starting, you're running on adrenaline about the service you're providing, the passion for your program, the people that you're creating. And admittedly, I am a bit of a client junkie. Like, I can't stop communicating with people.
Yeah.
But once the program's set up, it becomes evergreen. And so you don't have to spend so much time developing it all the time, even though in saying that I still create live workouts original every week, and there's still quite a lot of content I'm delivering.
Yeah.
But it becomes mostly about scaling and marketing. Marketing is your number one thing. You can't do anything if nobody's going to buy it, and you can, the only way that you can actually provide a better service is by scaling it.
What about, I guess, your location of your business is quite remote, or not, more remote than I'm used to, I guess, being in Toowoomba or Springfield, close to Brisbane, etc. Have you had specific challenges that you think would make it a lot more difficult for you as a woman that, started your business there than it would have been if you started in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane?
It's really interesting when you say that, because I actually think I've got the advantage.
Okay, yeah.
Even though internet speed and capacity is still one area, and communication, who would like sometimes the phone's out and that sort of thing. But in a nutshell, where I live, there's so much space. I don't have 15 different friends to visit every day. I can pretty much do my family and my work, and I do it from home, so I can see my kids all the time. To be honest, I think I've got the ultimate when it comes to running a business, because I've got no distractions. I've got at my doorstep the two things that are important to me, and that's my business and my family. And so to me, I think I'm pretty lucky.
Well, that kind of statement is going to attract some entrepreneurs to go your way. So it sounds very, very tempting, actually. We talked previously about partnerships, and we as women, and not all women, depending on your personality, of course, but, we do kind of tend to network quite well. Have you found networking, what value has networking kind of brought to your business?
I think the greatest networking I've done is actually with the people that are buying my program and are engaging in my business. Honest friends that have bought the program and tell you exactly what they think, and members that, you talk to all the time about. That is actually what's been the most valuable thing for me, is because you've got to meet people where they're at. There's no use providing this program if it's not meeting anybody's needs. So talking to clients has been my networking, and I'm a bit addicted to it because I love hearing about what's working and what's not, and trying to find some ways around that. As far as working with other entrepreneurs, I haven't actually done a lot of networking with other business people as such. But I still find it really inspiring and exciting for other people to be trying new things. Yeah.
What about mentoring and the role of mentoring in your success?
Definitely important. I have one of my partners is probably my most valuable mentor, in the fact that he is very good with digital marketing, and will often pass a great deal of study onto me and say, you really need to sign up for this, you really need to learn this, you really need to do that. And he'll be pushing me to do things that I may not have thought of or be comfortable with doing. But I've learnt my lesson that you just say yes and do it, and it's all good. He's been a great sounding board for when I've dropped my bundle or when I've reached a new point. So it's been great to have somebody like that.
When you think a little bit about, lessons that you've learned in your journey and so forth, what would be your biggest overall lesson that you have learned, and that you can kind of make other people or other women aware of that?
I suppose the balancing the life one was a really important lesson, and if it feels like it's out of whack, then it probably is, and you just got to get it back in line. And the other one is that lots of people will often say to you, I don't know how you do it, and, wow, all this and stuff. Remember that as a woman, and if this business that you're doing is the only thing you're doing, and then you've got a family as well, it is just work. It's work. And I always love what Brendan Burchard says, when you knock on the door of opportunity, remember it is work that answers. And everybody needs to work. With entrepreneurs, it's sort of like they get labelled as working on something that's really weird and diverse, but in fact, it is just work. And and we all need to do it. And we all, some of us love it and some of us don't. But if we want the opportunities that provides us in life, then when we do the work.
Yeah. What about advice that you can give maybe to other women out there who's thinking to start? And you've already talked about quite a few things throughout this interview, but also maybe some lessons, in scaling up. Maybe 2 or 3 major points.
1, do it yourself first before you hire anybody. Really, just figure it out to some level yourself before you go outsourcing everything. It's most cost efficient for you to work on it, and then you know what somebody else needs to do, and if it's worthwhile, then yes. So that's one thing. Secondly, you don't need a flash logo, or you don't need a flash brand to start.
Yeah.
Just start. You'll be way ahead of the person still trying to get their colours right and their logo right in 12 months' time.
That's right.
It doesn't matter that much in business. And 3, focus on marketing. Once you have that product, whatever it is that you're going to sell, get it and sell it. Selling is where you have the potential to do so much more.
Yeah. Second, 2 more questions. The one aspect of it is you're obviously a creator. You create new programs, you create new ideas and new ways of thinking around fitness. So what would be one amazing thing that you still want to create in the future that may make a difference to maybe your community or other people, your clients, your family?
I suppose I'd like to have a more interactive way of connecting with people, because I believe that connection in the fitness and health world is where the money is, as not the money, but the magic happens basically.
Yeah.
That's where people feel really good, is where they're connected.
Yeah.
And it also provides a way of feeling, a lift in camaraderie, that we're all in this together. And it's great that we can do that via closed Facebook groups, but one day I'd love for it to be possible virtually to connect people, and physically as well. So into the future, that would be great. And plugging in just a huge number of diverse ways to exercise. Just because I have this fitness program doesn't mean it's going to fit everybody. So wouldn't it be great to be able to do F45 and HIIT training and do this program and that program all in the one portal, regardless of where you lived? So that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of our partners, Fire Station 101, the Innovation Centre in the Ipswich area, and they currently are trialing a whole range of new things around virtual reality. And I'm thinking, virtual reality and potentially the exercise, there could be a really good connection there.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. In fact, one of my members has done a virtual reality live workout. So
okay, yeah. Fantastic. So where can we find you online, or if we and other women would like to connect with you socially, talk about business, etc., and find out more about your business, where can we go?
So the website's www.offthetracktraining.com.au, but best to just message me on our Facebook page, Off the Track Training. You might also find some groups as well as Joy's Fitness Hub. The membership site is just for members only, but we've got another one called Fitness, Food and Motivation as a Facebook group, and you can just ask to join that, and we allow lots of people that are doing our 30-day challenges to join in there.
Yeah.
If you see our 30-day challenges, jump on board. They're free, and it's just a way to kickstart and get to know us all. So yeah, that's a lot of different ways that they can connect.
Look, thank you very, very much, Joy, for your time today and your energy and the lessons that you're willing to share, because I think that's how we learn as women, when we hear what others are doing and what's working well and what's not so working. I really appreciate you being part of the Showcase series, and really looking forward to connecting again with you later down the track in this program as well.
Thank you very much for having me. And if I can just leave with one little bit of a comment, is that I'm not an extremely bright person. I'm just a normal person, and if you think you have to be smart, or if you think you have to have heaps of time, just push those barriers aside. I'm just a normal person that needs to do the washing every day. Honestly, if I can make it happen, you can too.